I mean, like, I just have to ask Carlini, right? Just like Carlini,
Mm,
hire me.
you just need a
Carlini,
sugar daddy.
Carlini.
So
Yeah, I just need.
we got a game here. We got a game launch. Thanks everybody for being so patient. It's Killer B and Milmano. We're watching Tim, BBK, and Goodfella take on Spring. Yes, it is that Spring, I do believe. Mateus, aka Melkor, and ACCM. Milmano, if you just had to take a team here based on what you know about these players, who do you think's the favorite coming into this game?
Tim's team.
Tim's team.
Yeah.
Because of Tim.
Mainly so,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I think I think there's a stronger team. Like Goodfella in particular, I'm having a look at. The only weakness probably could be BBK,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, I would have Spring as the counterbalance. However,
But yeah, go ahead.
just looking at where they're positioned, is Spring on the flank? I think he is.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well that's okay then, because I don't think Spring is as good as a pocket as he is a flank.
What's
And he's
interesting,
Huns.
and yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Spring is a Hun specialist. He is by no means a 1729 player. I think this is a new account for him, or maybe he just doesn't play team games a lot. He's a 1v1 Huns specialist, so I do think that he's better than 1729. But I'd agree with you. I mean, Tim and Goodfella on a team is going to be an interesting matchup. Let me just quickly point out the two pockets here. So we've got BBK, Tim, and Goodfella. So we've got Hun's pocket in blue. We've got a Celt's pocket on the other side in red. And that's probably putting up red flags for you, Milmano?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Immediately. I'm like, girl pocket.
Yeah, it's
Not
really
the
tough.
best. Oh, against a Hun pocket. Oh. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
really
well
tough.
that's gonna be fun. It's not so terrible when it's a 4v4 and you got a Celt pocket, because again you got it's, as I said last game in that last cast about the need to have a two-stable pocket that's got bloodlines in particular for a start.
Hmm.
And then you got Celts, which doesn't have bloodlines. It has the worst paladins in the game.
Hmm.
It's tough. Of course, they're never going to go. They don't really go paladins anyway, but it's just going to be a difficult game, I think, in that perspective, because BBK's ability to be able to be on the map a lot quicker with stronger knights could be a real problem for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if we're being totally honest with each other, I mean, a 1780 player is an incredibly strong player. Would beat the hell out of me. But if you're outmatched, like you are in the case of a 1781 player, and you've got a couple players in your 2K on the other team, what's better than a fast castle knight build? I mean, that's one of the easiest builds in the game to manage. You know you can do it efficiently, no matter how, well, I shouldn't say no matter how high or low you are, but I mean, we know for sure that BBK can pull off a really nice knight build. And I think that's going to bolster the fact that he's kind of the low man on his team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he would be the weakest player out of the three, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
but there is still opportunity, though. I think just because you're a pocket player doesn't mean you have to go Knights build or whatever you're gonna do, or 3 TC 1 stable. Could you entertain the possibility that Mathis might go for a forward on this? Could go forward feudal, especially with Celts. You could go for a man at arms tower push on the pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
Would you be so bold? I mean, look at the map right now for BBK. It's not the worst map, but especially not the best. I mean, there are areas you could hit that could be quite fatal.
yeah, that's an interesting idea. So Milmano's talking about the Celts player basically overcoming his weakness of not being able to build knights by coming forward with towers. This is a somewhat towerable map. I mean, it's a long walk in a 6-player size map. But yeah, I guess if you size things up and you have a feeling that your team doesn't have the greatest chance to win, then yeah, go for broke and start dropping some towers. For now, I guess what would matter in that scenario is how much Melkor's scouted, and he hasn't scouted forward at all. So he would be doing it blindly, unfortunately. But I think in general, I think you're on the right track. I think it's a totally legitimate tactic to go with the pocket forward. It's hard to pull off, but it's a good tactic.
It's a quite high risk, high reward play. And 3v3s, it makes a little bit more sense to go as the approach, because in a 4v4, there are 2 pockets. So the other pocket can always go and help out if there need be. So by eliminating the other pocket on the other side, on this occasion, it can actually work very well. It's still without some huge risk, because if you cock up, then there is no pocket on the other team, if you could call it that way. So we'll see what happens. It's just entertain the possibility. I don't, from the looks of it, is he going to go for a forward? Don't know. I don't think so. But he's collecting a lot of food very quickly, though. He's managed to push the deer in, so there is still potential. But he would have to go by the next 1 to 2 bills to make this effective, because he has to walk to the other side of the map, not just, you know, a shorter distance you would see in a 1v1.
Yeah, interesting stuff going on in the chat, which we'll address later about who's the best player, who's the caster, who's the best player. But that's a debate we'll get into in a moment when the game cools down. I think right now it's still worth mentioning that Tim will be up 1 villager earlier than ACCM. ACCM's got a scout that's on 3 HP. Mongols, usually you're going to go into scouts in this situation. You're going to go up quickly, pump out a couple scouts, and put some pressure on somebody. Having one of those scouts on very low HP will really slow the roll of ACCM. I would expect Tim to get a lot more traction. He's up earlier, and his scout, I believe, is going to be on higher HP. Yeah, full HP on Tim's scout. So the 2 Mongols players could impact this game early on, and I would expect Tim to maybe have a better chance to do so. But we'll see. Things will develop here in time. And Milmano, what do you think? Who's your... if you have to take Nili out, because Nili is by far the best player caster out of the group. Amongst the mortal casters, who's your favorite? Who do you think wins in a straight-up 1v1 tournament?
That's quite... T90's not bad.
Yeah, T90's strong.
He's fairly strong. He does do what I do, which is cock up a lot in terms of like in areas. Like, but I cock up a lot, so.
Well, you have to be in the discussion. I know you're a modest guy,
Yes.
but you're
No,
probably amongst that group.
I would
right?
I would have to do a lot of training right now to get back up into a good enough shape. I played the other day and I was awful. I think Klauski's actually quite strong. His arena play is very good for that level. I'm not too sure about the rest of it, but I think he's not too bad either. So I think he's 1700 watt completely. So he's probably at the moment the best. Quiros isn't bad either. You know, Killer B. Hey, your Persian game we played was good. So throw you out to throw in there.
I can't remember
All that bromance, man. It's just cringe-worthy, isn't it? Well, there's someone else as well. Let me have a quick look on the.
While you think about that, I'll say that Tim's scouts are coming out across the map like we thought. He's already taken Mateus' scout down. Mateus never really got any vision on the map, which is a bit of a bummer. His scout is now dead, though. He's got himself walled in, defended pretty nicely against Tim's raiding. A lot of villager time spent building all these palisades, but he is totally safe. Tim is immediately just going to get out of dodge there with 3 scouts. He will go north toward the green player, who is so freaking open. It is absolutely disgusting. Spring at the moment does have a spearman on the front. He does have a couple scouts, but he's totally open in the back, and his teammates should be telling him, Tim's scouts might be coming into the back of your eco, because those scouts just went off of the screen of Mateus. We're going to see a villager go down here for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's an easy bill. That's a bit sloppy there from Spring, actually, not to have the spearman there.
Yeah.
That was sloppy. It's one of the situations where you should be able to... Because, look, your scouts are on the front, so the only way they're going to get in is around the back, so you're going to have to know. So your spearman should be positioned either at the berries, which is unlikely because the wall you've already got up is on the front. So the only way to come through is actually on the wood in the back. So yeah, that's being very picky, I will admit. But even still, it's one of those situations where you'll learn and go, oh,
yeah, Mateus here, though. Mateus gets in really late. He just got in the chat after Spring already lost a Vill. He said, "Oh, there were some scouts in my base. They might go to you, ACCM." So, yeah, a bit of a bummer there. The scouts get in and pick a Vill. It's not the end of the world, and yeah, we won't pick on him too much. But that's an unfortunate thing that you can help your teammates out with. I mean, I can't because I'm not good, but usually pro players can help each other out. Yeah. So a bit of a bummer there. I'm still watching ACCM scouts roaming around looking for somewhere to do damage. They're coming into the berries right now of BBK, and it looks like they will also be grabbing a villager off of that berry patch. Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Oh, go on, go be bold. Yeah.
2 scouts going, or 2 Vills going down. 1 scout will die. That's the initial purple scout that was on low HP. So rest in pieces, my friend. For now, it's actually looking like a pretty even game. BBK hits the castle age first. And what do you think about this? BBK up early and probably has a couple stables. Has a stable for now.
He's got 1 stable. He's going for a 1 stable approach. So he wants to try and get those TCs up nice and early. Oh, hello. Oh, that spearman got bugged out by the villagers blocking it.
Another Vill going down there for the blue player.
2
Vills going down. Oh
2
boy.
Vills.
Those are now Those are now the most effective scouts that ACCM has ever built. I mean, he's killed so many villagers, and he's still got 3 on full HP. Half HP.
That's so bad. That's so unfortunate.
But immediately out to the second TC and probably a third soon for BBK. Yes. Mateus on the other side as Celts did not go forward and do anything desperate, and he does look like he's spreading out his eco now to probably drop 3 TCs of his own. I mean, is there a late game strategy here that doesn't involve Woad Raiders for Mateus? Because that's all I can really think of.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decipher this all. Yeah, 3 TCs looks like it's going to go. It's quite fortunate because BBK's been lost 4 builds, so that's going to slow him down a lot. And he's only got 1 stable too, which relieves a lot of pressure that I would have thought would have been expected from the Huns. So it's actually very good for Mathis because he's got the 3 TCs up. That wood bonus is huge because it allows him, 1, to get the TCs up and to get those farms down a little bit faster. Because again, that wood income is increased. So that's very good for him. Please. I expect to be pretty well protected. Look, like the TC on the gold, TC on the back wood line, the one on the front's been walled up.
Yeah, very nice.
It'd be hard for Tim to touch. Should be hard for BBK as well, or anyone as such. So just gotta make sure that Spring doesn't die, and that's the most important thing. All bases are covered.
Let me just quickly say thanks for the donation. I actually can't see it at the moment. My Twitch alerts crashed, but I heard somebody making a generous donation to us. Thanks very much for that, and we'll get to you after the match. Milmano and I appreciate your patronage. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for being here and spurring us on. We've got archers rolling around for Goodfella right now. He is not up to Castle Age yet, hasn't clicked up. Trying to do some damage to ACCM. ACCM scouts went out across the map and did a lot of work, and now it's time to see if he can hold against these archers, and it looks like he will just fine. So we'll look away from that army for a moment. On the other side of the map, blue player BBK's Knights are starting to come out. No upgrades on those, but he's cleaning up the scouts from Spring. Spring walled up, but he does have Tim inside of his walls. How did this happen? Do you know?
I think one of the palisade walls must have broken into something. You can see on the left-hand side, it's a bit of a mess there. He's going to fix it up now, but the scouts are in.
Oh, yeah.
And that's with bloodlines +1 as well, so it's going to be difficult to try and chop down here by the spearmen. So, good luck, Spring.
Yeah, this is tough for Spring. He's got plenty of spears, but if Tim has good micro, he can keep him playing Ring Around the Rosie forever and ever. In this case, Tim is just going to string those spearmen out and kill them one by one while he can. So those will continue. Oh, you know what? It's probably the gold please coming from the chat. That's hilarious. But anyway, Tim is still inside of the walls here doing some damage, harassing Vils now of Spring, setting back his opponent on that side. Tim's done some pretty significant walling as well. And for the moment, we just wait for the red player Mateus to have an impact on the game. He's got the Knights, but I haven't seen him commit them to any fights just yet.
Yeah, he just gets the economy rolling. That's what you want to do with Celts. Just get your eco up and going. And probably to get a 4th TC as well, and then probably towards the gold to the south maybe, or somewhere else that's maybe a little bit closer to home. I don't know, but yeah, as of yet. But what will then happen, I imagine, is probably him to try and get 3, 4 more stables up and start putting out the Knights. You can get the +2 and all that, that's fine. It's probably more in reaction to BBK, because BBK will want to get the ball rolling soon enough with those 3, 4, 5 stable Knights of the Huns.
Right.
So it's more just trying to be reactive in this occasion and trying to keep on top. Because if you just try and abuse it and then you try and go up early, it's kind of like, well, okay. But, you know, maybe half your players dead by that point. So he's going to need to get some military out to help out his allies.
Interesting fight going on top of the hill in front of the Teal base. Goodfella has quite a few archers, but they are still feudal archers at the moment, just +1/+1 on those. ACCM climbing the hill with much more upgrades on his crossbows, most importantly +2 damage. The Knights there from BBK helped hold the line for a moment, but we saw a lot of archers die there from Goodfella, and that is really not a good result. He wanted those to be crossbowmen before that fight happened. Just a little bit caught on the wrong foot, so this is a nicely timed attack from Mateus and ACCM.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful timing. Just literally just slap bang on perfect. Just eliminated those archers, put the pressure on the gold, which I think that was a hole in the wall. He didn't expect that to happen. And that sent poor old Goodfella into a world of trouble. He will TC, though, to that gold. It's a nice sort of small reaction, but He's lost a lot there, far more than he wanted to. He's going to get ballistics now as well. That's going to help him out in the next fight. But he's going to need some help from BBK, and it should be arriving. Actually, he's got a few more knights, +1 defense, and a couple of camels. Oh my goodness, he's got the luxury of all.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that one player on the flank, ACCM, is going into crossbows with his Mongols flank, and we have Tim on the other flank in Mongols going with camels. It's not a huge commitment into camels, but what do you think about this? I mean, it's kind of a passive move on Tim's part.
I don't like it. To a degree, because spring is now, I would say, starting to become in its element, which is Huns, Huns, and Huns. So what is it you got? 3 rangers up going Cav Archer.
Right.
And that's going to make it difficult for the camels because, as you all know, Cav Archers are really nice with Huns. Able to kite those camels really easily. Bloody, bloody, blood, GG.
Yeah, I mean, Tim, it's not like he's gone balls deep into camels. I don't want to get too crazy, but he did build 4 or 5 camels. Looks like actually 6 of them still alive, coming across the map. He's decided to build up his eco and start taking stone and start thinking about those late game Mangudai. But he's putting a little bit of pressure on his teammates to basically hold 2 versus 3 on this side of the map, I would think, at some point. So maybe it's a good gamble, maybe it's a bad gamble. I guess we're going to find out soon.
Yeah, it will help out, I guess, a little bit on the pressure on towards the south from Mathis here. He's got +2 defense on the Knights now, just like BBK, which is good because that means BBK is probably keeping up. Because I think Mathis got it first, and then it's sort of like, oh, I should probably get it now as well.
Right.
But it's more for goodfella. I think goodfella's in a lot of trouble here. He's getting a little bit of harassment, which isn't ideal. Which isn't ideal.
Yeah, it's really tough. There's 3 armies kind of camping a hill in the middle of the Teal base. Goodfella is trying to help hold the line and trying to get his teammates involved with this, but Cav Archers' crossbows are going to shred these camels as long as this fight goes down in the right place at the right time. For now, Cav Archers have been peeled away from the main army of Mateus and ACCM, so now it's looking like a hell of a lot better fight for BBK, who's going to run in with his knights. But yeah, it's an absolute clusterfuck of a 3v3 at the moment. Tim, again, still has those camels. He is contributing here, but he is also booming back at home. And the longer this takes to develop, the better chance Tim has of taking this game over in the late game.
Yeah, just look at Math's economy as well. Like, look at the difference. 100 villagers to 78. Tim, who's not even the pocket, has 81 villagers. Has 4 villagers. That's not good for BBK. I'm a little confused as to how that's happened. I know he lost 4 bills earlier on, but thought he would have made up for it by now. But anyway, moving past that point, Mathis has done pretty much exactly what I thought would have happened. I'm still waiting for that 4 TC, but he's got the 4 stables like I said he would have. The +2s will start to come through shortly. Maybe he's got... Is he going to continue with it? Or what do you think about going up to the Imperial Age soon?
Yeah, I mean, Mateus at the moment, let's see what his resources are. He's not really holding any gold or any food. He does have 4 stables. He does have knights coming out. He is heading over to stone now. Like you said, I mean, Celt Knights are not the best, and he doesn't want to go too deep into this line, but for now, it seems to be good pressure. It might bust a few pipes. He's actually back knocking on the base of the blue door. But yeah, if it's me playing this game, I'm thinking, like, when do I transition away from Knights? Probably pretty soon is what I'm thinking, but of course, I'm not nearly the level that these guys are. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, how many Knights are you actually building as Celts in this situation?
Well, I think he's absolutely doing everything correct because he wants to keep the pressure up because BBK is still nowhere near to where he needs to be right now. Look, he's still on 2 stables. No, well, yeah, he just lost one, hasn't he? So he's trying to build one behind.
Yep.
Which is insane. You should be on like 5 stables, I think, now with Huns personally, with all upgrades done. So he's actually getting outproduced at this point. 30 military to 19, which is insane. Like really insane. Right. And then what's really hurting them right now is actually Tim. Tim's actually gotten to Imperial Age, which is lovely. He's now going to get the first castle up, and Mangudai will soon be rolling. But he's made very little military, and this is what's hurting them because Mathis's team is coordinating very well and putting real pressure on this pocket and BBK. So that, and with that, it's going to damage BBK long term from getting up to that Imperial Age, which they really need for those Paladins. So
yeah,
it's dangerous times.
It's definitely a risk here. Tim is really leaving his teammates holding the bag for the moment by just building those couple of camels. But we'll see. I mean, Imp is on the way. Thumb Ring's on the way. A castle is out on the front. Second castle's coming. Tim's taking over a bit of map control. You got to believe that he's building some Mangudai now. So we'll see if he can get to the critical number. If you're Mateus here, you got to be feeling like, if I keep my foot on the gas, we can probably end this game sooner rather than later. That's our best chance of winning. He rolls now into BBK's economy with quite a few knights. Those are +2/+2 knights versus BBK bloodlines with +1/+2. Spring could help his teammate out a lot, but he seems to be actually uninterested. He's going to head to the south and see if he can hit the pocket. I think those armies would be better together than they are apart.
Yeah, but much better together. But
yeah,
so far though, BBK hasn't lost a TC or much economy since. He's on 102 bills. He's still 20 behind Mathers, or nearly 30, but he hasn't lost any TC. He's lost stables and a couple other things, but it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. If he lost a TC in like 30 villagers, I would say he's in some deep shit. But he's okay at the moment. As long as Tim comes right in now with the elite Mangudai as a bracelet, then it might be okay.
Yeah,
might be okay.
Tim's getting chemistry. He's getting elite Mangudai. He's getting bracer. He's trying to get his numbers up. He's at the moment on probably 6 or 8 Mangudai. Certainly needs more than that. BBK is still trying to hold the line and just sort of keep his knights close enough so that he doesn't get totally steamrolled here. Mateus is on the way to Imp as we speak. Parthian tactics coming for Tim. Chemistry, leather archer armor. He's going all in for Mangudai, but he needs to get here really soon. Here comes another dozen Cav archers from Spring. So Spring and his teammate Mateus here have an incredible presence. And I haven't been watching the other side of the map at all, but it looks like ACCM and Goodfella are somewhat in a stalemate of a game. Is that true?
ACCM's up, and he's actually got a Ford Castle down already. He's going to build a siege workshop on top of it, which is very nice. I don't think it's that even. I think ACCM's just going to keep applying the pressure down. He's going to take out these 2 ranges on the front, probably get a Treb out maybe as well, and just continue the siege forward. And Goodfella has not even up yet either. And
there's a hole. There's a hole in the wall, so those crossbowmen are walking straight in. Yeah, Goodfella, it does look like he's actually losing here to ACCM. I think the damage that Mateus and ACCM and Spring did to the back of the economy of Goodfella might have set him a little bit behind. But he's having a little bit of a struggle at the moment. Who's saying this in the chat? Europe, classic Tim play. Boom in isolation, wait till the late game, and then save all your friends right before they die. That is the blueprint for this game. Whether Tim can pull it off or not is going to be... That's a whole nother thing.
Oh, big fight, though. Look at this. Who's going to win this? I mean, BBK is holding up pretty well here. 30-25 in the military. The Mangudai, this is really good positioning here by Tim. I loved what he did there. I'll say when this fight ends.
Yeah, Tim moving those Mangudai to the back of that fight before it went down. And BBK continuing to reinforce.
That was huge. That was such a big fight on an untold level. And the main reason was actually, funnily enough, Tim. Tim played really well. Sprig's positioning wasn't great there. He was up at the top. He was focusing the fight, but then he got distracted by Tim. Now, of course, Tim's Mangudai are a little bit quicker, and of course, are more powerful. So Tim was like, not Tim, Spring was like, shit, I don't want to fight this Mangudai. So he went up north, and then was focusing down like one knight from BBK. And then Tim was like, fine, I'm just going to come down and position myself right behind Mathis' army and help you kill him off. So that was very well played by Tim and BBK, because BBK stuck with it, you know, trusting Tim to be able to clean up, basically. So
yeah, that was a game-saving fight. If this game is going to be won by Tim's team, that fight had to go the way it went. So also, people's correcting me, not Parthian tactics, but Smarthian tactics in for Tim. Those beefy,
Smarthian tactics.
Beefy Mangudai will be backed up by Siege Ram here in just a moment. But the push from ACCM is looking pretty real. Mateus starting to add in elite woads to bolster his teammate. And they will just have BBK in defense with Cavalier and a couple of crossbowmen behind this.
Yeah, they've got to try and hold this other side, though. Goodfella's getting pushed in a little bit. The next couple of Rangers seem to be going down. Oh, bless Goodfella. It's okay though. It's okay really for Goodfella because it's kind of like, well, I'm not really looking to go into further into the archery, just maybe to get skirmishers, but that's it. I don't even think you would want to go skirmishers because of the Word Raiders and the Rams. I imagine just go sheer onagers and woads of your own. But he's got some skirmishers. I think that's fine for now. But I think later on you will want to transition into something more like what Mathis is doing, which is Woad Siege combo.
BBK coming in right now with Paladin as it just tips over. He's going to get the Paladin upgrade while this fight is going down. And he'll push this back pretty nicely, I think, with probably about 18 Paladin on that side. Tim was spreading Mangudai everywhere. He's harassing a little bit here and there, but Mateus will chase him out of dodge for now. And all of a sudden, we have a pretty damn even game on our hands. The scores suggest that Spring, Mateus, and ACCM are winning by a small margin. But I sense that you might not totally agree with that. What do you think, Milmano?
Oh, I think you're pretty much spot on.
Yeah?
It's definitely evened up a lot in those past 5 minutes. That big fight in the main base saved BBK, who, we have to add, has actually, not, I wouldn't say recovered, but dealt with the pressure rather well, considering there was very little backup coming up from Tim, and there was, it was 2v1 for quite a considerable amount of time. He's been able to get Paladin and nearly fully upgraded on top of that. Like, someone like me would just be stuck on Cavalier for the next half hour, so
it's
very well played, I think.
The words you chose there, because Milmano saying the exact same thing. He did really well considering the pressure on him, talking about BBK.
Get Milmano in here.
Yeah, man.
Replace me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he can replace both of us. But right now we've got Woads from Mateus walking into the economy of BBK, maybe going to start to do some damage to this economy. BBK on 131 Vils, but of course, about a dozen Woads in your eco is a real sticky thing to get rid of. They're the herpes of units sometimes. Very quick, very annoying, decent damage, defense versus arrows, just like herpes. But Tim still pushing forward on the front. He's actually doing a whole lot of damage to ACCM right now, who's trying to power build a castle, but it's going to be a little bit close. There's going to be a lot of villagers dying before this castle goes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The castle will not go up. And oh my god, did you see that, Milmano? Oh my god.
Oh,
ooh,
boy.
It's just surrounded by corpses. This is a, what's 41 divided? It doesn't matter. It's like 85, 90% done castle. But Tim there just absolutely destroying ACCM's gusto. Castle denied, says all play, no float.
Denied.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very well played there by Tim. Good little raid to try and release pressure, because look, Mathis had to respond to send back most of the World Raiders to deal with this, as has ACCM just to deal with that. That's really good. That's really helping out Goodfella, but I say that and then there's a whole TC destroyed as Spring moves in with Cavalier on his base.
Yes.
This is a really interesting game, because like everywhere, yeah, just everywhere right now. I love to see that.
Yeah, this is a nice game. It's a top-level player game where they're just trying to create more chaos than the other team can deal with. And the Woad Raider chaos has not been enough to break Tim's team. The Mangudai chaos may be decisive here from Tim. Doing a great job there. Cavalier, of course, versus Paladin for Spring versus BBK. But Spring is bolstered by ACCM's Mangudai. Man, this is an absolute clusterfuck of a game, but trade has started, and eventually, man, what a huge response. I mean, we've got 18 Mangudai from the purple player, probably 20 Woad Raiders, and they're going to crush Tim into a corner here. It will clean up Tim, but that's a huge amount of army dedicated to that fight. Wood, please. Hey, Ivik, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so the walls continue to come up. You get excited about Ivik?
Of course, man.
Yeah, man.
Me too. Me too. Get excited.
Nice little phalanx of castles here from the Spring ACCM team. On the other side, it does actually look like, I'm sorry, the Tim team is also building up a nice little phalanx of castles as well. Goodfella has a castle out in the middle. He's got a couple trebs there. He's been a bit quiet, so it's probably time for Goodfella to kick into gear. He's got 126 Vils. He's been raided perpetually this game, but he's starting to build out heavy scorpions. Oh, baby.
Oh, hello.
Heavy Scorpions
Hello.
to deal with the opponent's woads, I guess?
Yeah, it's mainly to do with the words. Yeah, because you guess you can try to get Siege on, but they're quite expensive to go into. And I don't think that goodfella right now has the resources because he's been on the flank and he certainly had a rough game. I'll give him that. So yeah, I think Heavy Scorpions is a good option because if he goes woads, if he goes Siege on, then the woads or even the Mangudai can just focus them down to a small degree. There's a lot of where the Heavy Scorpions are a cheaper alternative. And they're actually very good at dealing with the Warrior Raiders once again, so I quite like the Heavy Scorpion choice at this moment.
Unfortunately, Goodfella is going to have his Trebs all sniped for free on the front. 3 Trebs, big investment there, going down very quickly to Paladin, which Spring is now on Paladin. Notably, no one has grabbed any relics this game, which is absolutely knocking me off my chair in surprise. Trade so far has mostly been for Mateus. He's got the most trade profit, seems to be the only guy with a good trade. Where are you looking?
I'm looking at Goodfella's base. This was so well coordinated by ACCM's team. Because when they pushed in, Goodfella went up to North to his castle, which would be the most instinctive thing to do. It's where your Raxus are, it's where your castle is. Where if Tim went down to the south, and I just split up the entire fight, which is what they wanted to do, because they don't want to fight this in one massive go.
Right.
And plus they had the bigger numbers as well. Able to focus down those Scorpions very easily with the Paladins, and then with the Woads, of course, backing up behind it. And then the Paladins, the rest of the Paladins were focusing on the played there. That's actually opened up a lot, because that's the castle gone, and a lot of the production as well from Goodfella. And it's also, to a degree, opened up the trade, and here he is, the man himself, ACCM, backed up by Maths as well. That's a difficult combination to stop at the trade.
Yeah, and Tim is trying to go tit for tat and raid on the other side, but his Mangudai are met by Woads, so we won't expect him to dominate as thoroughly as the Woad Mangudai combo that is now in the back of Tim, BBK, and Goodfella's trade. We've also got Paladin here from Spring. This has been a really great team game. I don't know if these guys play a lot together as a team, but they sure look like it today.
Yeah, it seems to all come together. I think also a large part of this has come down to, unfortunately, to Blue a little bit here. Not that it's his fault, but those Woads earlier. Look at his TCs right now. Like, what's going on? Idols 34. Like, come on, like buddy. They're also a bit short on gold as well. I think their trade was up a little bit later, which hasn't helped them. What the flip, Tim? How else do you respond, man? Oh shit!
Where are you looking right now?
Right at the trade line for Mathis.
Yeah, Tim is here in the trade. He's been there for a moment. He just cleaned up a bunch of Woads, but here comes some skirms. I don't know how long he'll last here. But certainly doing some good damage. On the other side, we've got a little bit of... Tim's actually coming back with Mangudai to try to squash this.
71. He has 71 military.
Yeah, 71 Mangudai.
Well, that's what happens when you turtle up for half the game. But
absolutely. And Tim's doing a good job to spread his Mangudai in the south. They are faster than the units that are chasing them. So he's just running through the trade alongside the trade carts and then stopping to snipe a bunch of trade. Tim is the only thing keeping his team in the game right now, but it's still dire, man. ACCM is still here sniping trade carts. We've got a couple green paladins to the north. We'll see how this goes. Mateus has been a little bit quiet for a moment. His Woads they're killing a mining camp, which is a bummer. They're just standing and dying.
Oh, those Mangudai got trapped in the oasis somehow. I think the path thing must have clicked down there, so they lost half of them in the south.
Which color?
But look how much is brought back, though. Look how many military is just chasing these Mangudai.
Yeah, I mean, there is
it's all about creating that space. Oh, it's a nice little choke point there. But the castle's there to defend it, so it's okay.
Yeah, fortified wall coming in from Mateus. He will eventually help his team out. Goodfella will lose a castle on the side. He's been in trouble for a long time. We haven't heard a lot from Goodfella for quite a while. Right now, it's really just Tim trying to keep his team leaning, keeping the stool up, but there's just one strong leg at the moment. Double castles from ACCM still building out Mangudai. He's got a couple trebs forward that have done some work. These heavy scorpions have probably yet to pay off their investment, but heavy scorpions still coming out for Goodfella. We'll grab forging, and for now, it actually looks like Goodfella is saying it's over. I can't do this shit, says Goodfella.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, Goodfella.
I mean,
I
look
think
at
everyone's been there where it's just kind of like, it's so demoralizing. You're just trying as best as you can, and then just everything you create is just dead in seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been all defense for Goodfella. He's been he's had 2 or 3 opponents in his base for a long time. Wode's coming from Mateus now that the trade pressure has been alleviated. He's got 89 military, and most of it is in the southeast of the map. He's going to start making a push alongside ACCM. And I don't think there's anything here to stop this. It's looking like GG is inevitable on this side, but Tim is still trying to do something. Still running around the map with his Mangadai, seeing if he can do something that will upset the apple cart, but it's looking pretty dire at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 points behind. Maybe the biggest issue here is that Goodfella's on 114 pop. He's only got 24 military. He's just had people in his base all day, every day. Wodes from Mateus going about 10 by 10 in every single direction. Mangadai running straight to the back of that trade again. Also, we've got Wodes going to that trade as well. It's looking bad, my friend. It's looking bad for Tim's team. The team you said was going to win, by the way.
Yeah, I never trust my predictions, honestly. I remember I did a series of T90 and I was like, I back this guy every day, and then like he lost like 5 of the 6 games. So yeah, it was just. I think Mathis played that very smart from the pocket. I was a bit surprised BBK. He took a bit of damage early game from ACCM, but I honestly don't think it helped. Whereby I don't want to pin it on it's Tim's fault because Tim actually played really well at the end, but it was because of the fact that Tim turtled up like a as who said it? Who said in your chat? Someone said like a 5th Ninja Turtle. Yeah, Europe was like a 5th Ninja Turtle.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good description because he then comes out like a Ninja Turtle and just goes kapow.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it didn't come through on this occasion.
I agree with you. A lot of this game comes down to predicting what your opponent's going to do and reacting properly. In this case, maybe Mateus and his team predicted a little bit of a slow play from Tim, or maybe we should just say Tim didn't predict how much pressure would be on his teammates while he was booming. Yeah. He just, Goodfella there was just hurt too badly. It's already difficult playing Celts v Mongols on the flank, not to mention when you've lost Vils and lost gather time to raiding. So really good game there, man. That was awesome.
It was really good. Like it was that was a great. I thought it was a small mini comeback as well from BBK and Tim together, but it was just not enough, unfortunately, because then Goodfella kind of got hurt badly.
How do you feel
about? That made it very difficult.
How do you feel about nobody grabbing a relic in that game? Like, how is that possible in a 3v3
criminal
that lasts an hour?
Some would say that's criminal.
I mean, I wouldn't have done it. I'm always focused on other things, but man, it just blows my mind. So really good game there with Milmano here. It looks like the guys are relaunching. I'm going to go for another. I don't know what you're up to, my friend, but I'm going to jump